archetypes bring a certain type of energy to any project that you might be working on. The word archetype comes from the Greek archetypos, which means first moulded. So you look to an original design, you make a copy of it, and you imbue it with your own little idiosyncrasies. Archetypes are well recognised because they're hard-coded in our society with storytelling, and we just recognise them. So if I was to say to you a black pointy hat, immediately you recognise what that means, and you bring a whole load of resonance with it. Archetypes are not just things; they're also places, like the forest. It can be time, like daytime, nighttime. It gives a different kind of energy. Dusk, dawn. We immediately think all manner of things. We bring energy to it. They can also be, as I said, places like the forest is quite different to a cave or to a mountainside lake. We just conjure up all sorts of imagery. It is kind of like a shorthand, but it's different to its opposite, which is a stereotype, which is a reductive term that just reduces people down to the smallest bit of themselves, because we as people are multifaceted and very complex, and archetypes, when they are people, they represent just a facet of somebody's personality. In marketing, in the link that I'll put below here, I have a picture of 12 archetypes that often they use: caregiver, hero, lover, magician. Some of them reflect, and they're as old as time because they reflect in the tarot cards, in ancient Greek mythology, and they're used nowadays to tap immediately into the resonance that they give us. They're sometimes used in psychotherapy because, more than anything, when we are creating something to make the world a better place, or we're communicating something via a story, it's basically to gain an understanding of us and the world around us. So it makes sense that archetypes have been used in psychotherapy. You shadow person, that's quite the shadow part of your personality. The animus, Carl Jung worked on them for his whole life. The trickster, these are all aspects of who we might be. And yes, they are linked also. It got me thinking about business, and there's personality tests you can do, like the Myers-Briggs, is it? And also the Enneagram, that's another one where you try and figure out who we are. It's basically the energy that we bring. The archetype brings an energy, but it's all to understand us, because we are constantly changing, and the world around us is constantly changing, and other people around us. And an archetype just helps us make everything a little bit more manageable, a little bit more understandable, and kind of anchors us a little bit into whatever it is we're trying to create and make and tell. And what we like to do as well is to be a little bit inspired by the archetype. So if you add that to, if you can express your archetype artistically, wrap it up in something beautiful, well, archetype plus a kind of art wrapper, the art infusion effect it's called, creates something that's completely irresistible and appeals to the people around you, which ultimately is what you're doing when you employ an archetype to create something and put it out there in the world. Archetype plus a beautiful wrapper equals irresistibility. Okay.